Welcome back to High Stakes English. I'm Leo, your career strategist.
And I'm Maya, your business English coach. Today, we're fixing Marco's career.
So I want you to imagine you are Marco for a second.
Mm.
You have this absolutely flawless 4.0 GPA.
Right.
You have spent, what, 4 years just mastering Python, predictive modeling, data analytics.
Working incredibly hard.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you have sent out 50 highly polished resumes this month alone.
And let me guess, the silence is deafening.
0 callbacks. Absolutely nothing. And look, here is the brutal truth about the modern corporate arena that we need to talk about today. Your technical skills and your perfect grades, they're just not enough.
They really aren't.
I mean, if you walk into an interview right now and you talk endlessly about your past academic achievements, you are already losing.
Yeah.
I've spent my career engineering over $5 million in corporate negotiations, and I can tell you exactly how the people sitting across that table think.
Yeah, they aren't looking for a student.
Exactly. They're looking for a solution.
Precisely. And, in my work optimizing C-suite executive presence, the disconnect I see with entry-level candidates is just massive.
It's everywhere.
It really is. So in the strategy brief, our mission is to take our case study, Marco, who is currently operating as this invisible flesh grad, and fundamentally transform his approach and yours into that of a high-value consultant.
Which is a huge shift.
Huge. And we are synthesizing a deep stack of intelligence today to do this. We're looking at high-stakes English strategy documents on the fresh Grad Trap. We're pulling hard HR data on the catastrophic financial cost of a bad hire.
That data is wild, by the way.
Oh, it's terrifying. And we'll also diagnose the cross-cultural communication breakdowns using insights from Aaron Meyer's The Culture Map. Plus, we are deploying advanced tactical updates to traditional interview methods that are, frankly, actively failing candidates right now.
Yeah, they are completely outdated.
Yeah.
But before we can fix the mechanics of what Marco actually says in the room, we really have to audit why his mindset is broken. Like, why is a flawless academic record actually working against him?
Yeah.
Let's just deliver the HSE roast right out of the gate here.
Go for it.
A 4.0 GPA is just a receipt for a meal nobody at this table is eating.
Ouch. But yes.
Nobody in the corporate world cares how hard you studied. Right now, Marco is suffering from what we call beggar English.
Beggar English.
He is walking into these high-stakes rooms begging for a chance instead of offering a solution. He is selling his past education instead of the company's future ROI.
Well, what's fascinating here is how quickly that student desperation translates into a massive financial risk in the hiring manager's brain.
Oh, instantly.
Because let's look at the HR data. A bad hire isn't just an annoyance for them. It is a profound financial liability.
Right.
The research actually shows that a bad hire costs a company up to 30% of that employee's first year salary. So, if Marco is applying for a baseline $50,000 role, hiring the wrong person is a $15,000 minimum loss for that company.
And let's be real here, that is just the cash burn. That doesn't even touch the operational damage of dragging down the rest of the department.
Yeah, the collateral damage is actually much worse than the financial loss. The data shows that 70% of employees say strong team relationships are essential to job satisfaction.
Would make sense.
Right, so when you drop an underperformer, someone who constantly needs hand-holding, into a highly functional team, morale just plummets. Having a single bad hire can increase overall team turnover by 42%.
Wait, 42% just from one bad hire?
Just from one. So when Marco sounds like a student who expects to be, trained and guided and graded.
It stops looking like top-tier talent.
Exactly. He starts looking like a $15,000 threat to their ecosystem. Companies do not hire potential. They hire certainty.
The analogy from the HR sourcing documents is perfect here. Hiring a candidate stuck in student mode is like buying a car that breaks down on the drive home and also sets fire to your garage.
That is a great way to put it.
You aren't just losing your investment, You are actively destroying the infrastructure you already built. So I have a direct question for you listening to this deep dive right now.
Listen closely to this.
Are you selling your past education, or are you selling their future ROI? Because if it's the former, you are a walking liability.
And if selling ROI over education is the only logical move, we have to ask why Marco, and frankly, thousands of international graduates just like him, are stuck in this trap.
Yeah, why is it so common?
Well, it's this toxic mix of academic conditioning and invisible cultural boundaries. If we look at the insights from the culture map, we see the psychological hurdles that cause international talent to fail in Western corporate interviews.
Now, this isn't just about language barriers, is it? It's about the fundamental power dynamics in the room.
Completely. In the source material, there is a brilliant example about a highly capable professional named Bo Chen.
Right, the meeting example.
Yes, Bo is sitting in a global meeting, and he's waiting patiently to be called on by the authority figure. Now, in his culture, this is a sign of deep respect.
He's being polite.
Exactly. Meanwhile, his American colleagues are just jumping in, speaking over each other, actively claiming space.
Because that's what we do here.
Right. And Bo assumes that his polite deference will be rewarded. Instead, his opportunity just never comes. And to the Western executives, he looks entirely passive. Marco is acting exactly like Bo Chen in his interviews.
He expects the interviewer to lead the dance. He's sitting there literally waiting for permission to be valuable.
Yes.
But in Western corporate hiring, waiting to be led signals a complete lack of executive presence. If you wait to be called on, you look like a subordinate, not a peer.
And this connects directly to another crucial concept from the culture map. There's a Japanese executive named Takaki who explains the cultural importance of reading the air.
Reading the air, right?
Yeah, it's this practice of picking up on unspoken subtext and expecting others to do the exact same thing. It's very high context communication.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Right, so Marco is trapped in this mindset. He expects the hiring manager to look at his 4.0 GPA, read the air, and magically deduce his operational value.
Which they won't do.
Exactly. A Western hiring manager operates in a low-context culture. They need explicit, hard data. They do not read the air. They read the bottom line.
Okay, let me push back strategically here, because I hear this from fresh grads all the time.
Sir?
Isn't it considered incredibly arrogant for a 22-year-old with zero formal corporate experience to walk into a room, refuse to act like a student, and just start acting like an industry expert? Doesn't that immediately backfire?
See, that is the exact fear keeping candidates paralyzed in student mode. But we really have to separate two concepts here: arrogance and confidence.
Okay, break that down.
Arrogance is demanding respect without proof. Confidence is diagnosing a business problem and presenting a data-backed solution.
Right.
You aren't acting superior, you are acting like a peer who is focused on the exact same goal. If your confidence is rooted in data, it is never arrogant.
Which brings us to the fundamental identity shift that has to happen before you even log on to that Zoom call.
Yes.
If you are listening to this and you want to stop getting rejected, you have to adopt the sales meeting mindset. An interview is not a university test where you try to get a gold star from the teacher.
No, not at all.
It is a high-stakes business consultation. The company has a pain point. That vacant role is bleeding money, time, or efficiency. You must transition your entire identity from candidate to unpaid consultant.
And this is exactly where we deploy the project as proof strategy.
Okay, what is that?
Well, how do you hack the zero experience paradox? You stop treating your university work like homework. Marco must treat his data and computer science capstone projects as client case studies.
Ah, I love that.
Right. No one cares that he studied the theory of Python. They care that he can use Python to save them $50,000 in operational waste.
Exactly.
So instead of sending a standard, boring resume outlining his coursework, he needs to send a problem solution map tied directly to the job description.
Look, I understand the theory. But realistically, if Marco is sitting in that room, how does he establish this peer dynamic instantly?
It happens fast.
Right, because the interviewer has the power, the interviewer has the job. How does he open the conversation so he doesn't sound rehearsed, but still completely changes the temperature of the room?
He takes control of the framing within the first 30 seconds using an authority affirmation.
An authority affirmation.
Yes, this is a 3-sentence opener that immediately frames him as a problem solver rather than, a grateful subordinate.
Give us an example.
Instead of the standard, thank you so much for this opportunity, I'm just honored to be here, he pivots.
Too passive.
Exactly. He says, thanks for making the time today. I've been auditing the current data integration challenges in this sector, and I'm looking forward to discussing how my predictive models can directly support your quarterly target.
Wow, that completely rewires the dynamic.
It really does.
You are instantly a consultant diagnosing an issue, not a beggar hoping for a paycheck. But look, amenity and mindset are only half the battle here.
Definitely.
If the actual words coming out of your mouth sound like a junior intern,
Right.
You will be paid like a junior intern. Let's do some linguistic surgery.
My favorite part.
We need to look at the massive mistakes Marco is making when he actually answers behavioral questions. Mistake number 1, the to-do list trap.
Oh, this is painfully common. When asked about their background, candidates just list their duties. I managed the database. I wrote reports. I worked on a team.
Boring.
They completely miss the impact. It's just a grocery list of tasks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it puts the interviewer right to sleep.
So to fix this, we look at the STAR method situation, task, action, result, which is, the industry standard.
Right, everyone knows STAR.
But for high-stakes English, we are upgrading this. We use the SAR method. Situation, action, result. We are entirely dropping the task.
Let me stop you right there because this is vital. Why are we dropping the task?
Because the task is just what you were told to do. It's passive. It implies you were just waiting for orders. We need to cut the fluff and lead with ROI.
Okay, show us the difference.
Let's look at the before and after for Marco. The student version of his answer sounds like this. I worked really hard on a logistics project for my final grade, and my task was to build a database. So I did it and got an A.
Painful. It screams, I need a professor to grade my work.
Exactly. Now listen to the upgraded version using the SAR method. The situation was a simulated logistics firm losing inventory. My action was engineering a predictive data model.
Notice right there, you didn't say I was assigned to build a model. You just own the action.
Precisely. I cut the task out completely. I just took ownership. So my action was engineering a predictive data model using Python. The result was a 12% increase in tracking accuracy, which at scale would save a mid-sized firm roughly $40,000 annually.
That is the difference between begging and consulting right there. You're handing them the ROI on a silver platter.
It changes everything.
Now, let's hit mistake number 2, which I see constantly, especially in salary negotiations. Being passionate instead of being prepared.
Yes.
Marco keeps using these empty qualifiers. I am a very fast learner. I am highly passionate about data. Those are empty calories.
Completely empty.
Anyone can say them, and they prove absolutely nothing.
And if we connect this back to the HR data, passion does not mitigate financial risk. Preparedness does.
Exactly.
When the hiring manager inevitably points out his lack of formal experience, Marco cannot default to passion. We use solution 2, the authority pivot.
The authority pivot.
Like that.
When asked about having no experience, you answer by solving a business problem on the spot. You demonstrate what we call speed to productivity.
But practically speaking, if an HR director looks Marco in the eye and says, "Look, Marco, you have zero corporate experience. A slick one-liner isn't going to save him," what does he actually say? He agrees, and then he pivots to execution. He says, "You're right, my background is non-traditional. However, because I don't have legacy corporate habits to unlearn, my speed to productivity is significantly higher."
Oh, that's good.
And then he adds, "For example, looking at your current data pipeline bottleneck, the first thing I would audit is your integration points. Here is how I solved that exact issue in my recent case study."
You just completely sidestepped the objection, validated their concern, and immediately proved you can do the job right now.
And this brings us to a crucial, often ignored element, vocal mechanics.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter how good your SAR method is if your delivery undermines your authority. Specifically, we need to talk about the pitch drop.
The pitch drop.
Fresh graduates often use what linguists call Upspeak. They end their declarative sentences on a higher note, making everything sound like a question, like, "I engineered the database. I saved the company money."
Right, it's like a pilot coming over the intercom during severe turbulence.
A perfect example.
If they say, we are going to experience some bumps, with an upward inflection, the entire cabin goes into an absolute panic. They sound unsure.
Terrifying.
But if they drop the pitch, we're going to experience some bumps.
Yeah.
Everyone relaxes. It implies complete control. You are the pilot of the interview.
That is a perfect analogy. Upspeak destroys executive presence because it sounds like you are asking the hiring manager for validation, like, "Did I do a good job?"
Yeah.
To signal certainty and vocal authority, you must deliberately drop your pitch at the end of a sentence. "I engineered the database. I saved the company money."
Much better.
It lands with finality. It tells the listener that the information is an unshakable fact.
Right. So dropping the pitch stops you from sounding like a student. But look, sounding authoritative is only half the battle if you don't have the roadmap to back it up.
Exactly.
We need to talk about the actual proof you bring into that room. How does Marco deliver the ultimate proof of competence?
Based on the deep dive into the career strategy sources, Marco deploys the 30, 60, 90-day teaser.
Okay, break that down.
A 30, 60, 90 plan is a structured, written roadmap. It physically proves you have already started the job in your head. It shifts the conversation from the theoretical, can you do this, to the practical, here is exactly how I am going to do this.
Wait, let's stop you there, because this is the biggest hurdle.
Sure.
If Marco is a fresh grad, and he has never worked at this specific company, how on earth does he know what their internal tracking systems are, or what their specific bottlenecks are, to even put them in a 30-60-90 plan? Brilliant. So you use the breadcrumbs they leave in the public domain to diagnose the pain point. Walk us through the phases of this teaser.
For the first 30 days, the focus is strictly learning and integration. But you tie it to their pain points. You tell them, in my first 30 days, I am mapping your internal tracking systems, identifying the current workflow bottlenecks, and building cross-functional trust with the key stakeholders in operations.
So you're auditing. What about day 60?
For 60 days, the focus shifts to performance. You give them a hard, measurable metric. By day 60, I will be executing data pulls independently and aiming to optimize one core reporting pipeline to save the team 2 hours of manual entry a week.
Tangible ROI. And then 90 days.
By 90 days, it is complete ownership. By month 3, I am no longer just executing, I'm suggesting workflow improvements, leading small technical projects, and presenting a quarterly efficiency audit to this team.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? It means that when you hand a hiring manager a highly specific 30, 60, 90-day plan, you completely neutralize their fear.
You really do.
Remember the HR data. They are terrified of losing $15,000 and tanking their team's morale. You are giving them a tangible, de-risked roadmap to your exact ROI. You are removing the guesswork and replacing it with certainty.
Exactly. You cannot fake a 30, 60, 90 plan. It requires treating the entire interview process like a high-level consulting engagement.
Let's pull this all together.
Yeah.
We just took Marco from an invisible fresh grad to a high-value consultant.
A total overhaul.
We audited the mindset and deleted student mode. We broke through the cultural trap of waiting for permission and shifted his identity to the unpaid consultant.
Right.
We upgraded his language using the SAR method, cut in the fluff and leading with ROI. We fixed his vocal authority using the pitch drop to project certainty. And we sealed the deal by deploying the 30, 60, 90-day teaser to prove execution.
The transformation is total. He is no longer asking for a chance to learn. He is presenting an opportunity to profit.
I am issuing a direct challenge to you right now. Open your resume. Audit it today. If it does not have dollar signs, percentages, and hard metrics, you are speaking beggar English.
Period.
You are presenting yourself as a financial risk. Fix it. Translate every single task into a concrete result.
And here is your practical homework for the vocal mechanics. Take your phone, hit record, tell an impact narrative using the SAR method. Listen back to it. I want you to brutally delete every single instance of Upspeak. Drop your pitch. Claim your authority.
You need to sound like a professional they cannot afford to lose, not a student they have to teach.
I want to leave you with a final paradigm shift to think about. When you walk into your next interview, what if the job description they posted is actually completely wrong?
Interesting.
What if your real job in that room is to use your expertise to diagnose the underlying operational problem they don't even know they have yet?
Strategy over grammar.
Strategy over grammar.